Hello, this is your Nevada State Secretary Joe Haun. This is our second video that we've been sending out to the Grand Knights and some of their officers. These videos are designed to help you prepare for July 1st, becoming a Grand Knight of your council. So we're really fired up and looking forward to seeing what you can do as a Grand Knight for your council. Last week we discussed some of the things of what you should be doing to prepare to be a Grand Knight. And we discussed also at the end 4 tasks that we had for you to do for a week. Now, if you haven't done all 4 tasks, that's okay. But we would really like for you to have finished those 4 tasks, because in this video, we're going to talk about some more things that you need to do in order to prepare to becoming a Grand Knight. And then we're going to give you 4 more tasks. So you don't want to have 8 tasks to do this week. So hopefully you're following through on these tasks as I'm giving them to you each week. So we have about a week to go, maybe a week and a half before July 1st. And so we're looking forward to seeing what you can do coming up this next fraternal year. Last week we discussed who are the state officers. Our state deputy is Tony Pasqua. Our state secretary is, of course, me, Joe Haun. Our state treasurer, Minard Infantado. Our state advocate is John out of Reno. Our state warden is Tom Velarde. And, of course, he's also the membership director also. The next thing that we talked about last week was the state appointed officers. And we have 3 of those. First is our state chaplain, which is Father Manny. Our immediate past state deputy, which is Tom Thorne. He's also from Reno. And then we have our state executive secretary. He's not the same as me. Okay, we do 2 different jobs. He does not do the job of a state secretary. He does more like a recorder for the state deputy and the other state officers. And so his name is Richard Seneker, and he comes out of St. Joseph Husband of Mary here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We also discussed the state directors, who they are, like the membership director, and then the state chairmen. The chairmen fall under the various directors. Like the state membership director has 2 or 3 chairmen underneath him. One is the retention chairman. Another one's the membership chairman also. Underneath the state council is the district deputies. Now, the district deputies have their appointed officers underneath them, and one of them is a district warden. Now, a district warden is responsible to set up the meetings and things for the district, but he's also in training to become the next district deputy. So it's kind of his replacement. And so it's a very important position. If you want to know who your future district deputy is, look to see who the district warden is. Underneath the district deputies is your council. Each district, and in the state of Nevada, we have 12 districts. And underneath each one of those districts, there's anywhere from 3 to 5 councils. Your council is one of those councils underneath the district deputy. In your council, you are the Grand Knight. You lead the council. Under you is the deputy Grand Knight. You have your financial secretary, your treasurer. You have your recorder. You have your chancellor. You have an advocate. You have a warden. You also have guards, inside and outside. So there's a number of people within your own council that are officers. So that's the hierarchy within the state of Nevada and where you fall within that hierarchy. But believe it or not, probably the most important position in the entire state is you, the Grand Knight. So last week I gave you 4 tasks to do, okay? You can't appoint anybody yet because you're still a Grand Knight elect or whatever officer elect, unless you are a returning Grand Knight or a returning other officer in the council. So you're going to have to select these individuals for now, and then come July 1st, you actually appoint them. So the selection that you should have already made this week is your program director, your family director, and your youth director. These 3 individuals, we ask you to let them know that they also will have to take what's called a safe environment from Supreme. It's a 1-hour video that you get to watch, and you take a little quiz at the end. one of the individuals will also have a background check to them. You too will have to do the same thing, and that is to watch this video for 1 hour from Supreme. And once all 4 of you have done that, you've satisfied the requirement for your counsel. This year coming up, unlike the other years, all 4 of you must be assigned, and you must go through a safe environment. If you do not have these 3 individuals, you will not get star counsel, even though you may have all the other qualifications. In the past couple of years, they have allowed, if you only have yourself or 1 or 2 of the other ones. But this year, all 4 positions must be filled. All 4 must take safe environment. And we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. The second task that I gave you last week is to select your chairman for the immediate programs that are coming up in the next 3 or 4 months. Some of these chairmen may already have been selected by the current Grand Knight, and so you need to make a decision if you want to keep them or replace them. But anyway, you need to know who they are and have them in place so they already are working on the programs so you don't get behind. July is coming quick. August comes quick. September comes quick too. So first you know, it's going to be New Year's. So it's important that all these chairmen have been selected and in their post and know what they're supposed to be doing. The third task I gave you was to get together with your officers, your council officers, and set the goals for this fraternal year. If you were a 1-star council last year or this year, then maybe this fraternal year you want to go for 2 stars, 3 stars, whatever the goal is, or to just repeat 1 star. Whatever it is. If you didn't make star council this fraternal year, but you maybe only got one of the other awards like Columbian Award or McGivney Award or Founders Award, then you may want to go for maybe 1 or 2 more awards, or maybe you do want to go for star council. What if you didn't get any awards this year from Supreme? Then maybe your goal is to get 1, or whatever it may be. This is something you need to set and talk with your council officers and set the goal. The goal should be star council, though. And star council just means you did your job. That's all it means. And if you did your job, then you should be the star council. And except for a few reasons why. I know the center of the state has a little harder time getting star council, and there's reasons for that. The Northeast has a similar reason also. But we're working on that as a state council, and I think we're going to be talking to some individuals about that, and we're going to get some things changed to where you guys can make star council just as easy as anybody in Reno and Sparks and here in Las Vegas and Henderson can do it. So we'll work on that. And again, we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. The third task, the fourth task that I gave you last week was to come up with the 16 programs that you will be doing minimum for this year. These 16 programs follow the SP7 form. They meet the qualifications of that form. You have helping hands. You have the helping whatever the category is of the 4 categories. You have a program that fits in there. Make sure those 16 are in there. I recommend you fill out the SP7 now and then check off each program as it's done. Once all 16 programs are done, send it to Supreme. You can do this in January, February, March. You don't have to wait till June. So that's that form. So we'll talk more about that also. So this week I want to talk about what is your role as a Grand Knight. Your role as a Grand Knight is that you are the council leader. You lead the council. The council represents you. If you come in grouchy to all the meetings, or you come in complaining about this or that, or you come in with a bad attitude all the time, the council will reflect that. They'll have the same attitude. It's just the way it is. They voted you in. They want to be like you. So if you want to be that way, they're going to be that way also. But if you come into these meetings in charge, with a vision in your mind of where you want to go, and you express that to the council, and you state exactly what those goals are, and you are firm on it, and you lead from that podium, the council will follow that. They follow the leader, and they elected you to be the leader of that council, so they want to see you to hit your goals. If you don't have any goals, then it's going to be easy for them to say, yep, we can go right along and not make anything. But if you have big goals, they're going to do everything they can to support you to hit that goal. Also, as a Grand Knight of a council, you're a role model. Everybody knows who you are. They know that you're the Grand Knight. Whenever you're on the parish grounds, they know you. They're going to look at you 24/7. And guess what? It doesn't happen just on the parish grounds. It happens anywhere in the community because everybody knows that you're the Grand Knight. I have been in Las Vegas, where we live at the parish we go to is in the northwest corner of the valley. 30 miles away on the southeast corner, I can go into Walmart, and I will guarantee you there's somebody in there that knows me. And I can go to Boulder City, and somebody will know me. So I'm always have to be watchful on how I behave at all times, because somebody knows that I'm a knight and I'm a Catholic, a Catholic Knight of Columbus. So it's important that you behave properly. For the first time, this may be your first time being recognized this way, but that's the job. And so make sure you're always presented well, and you don't use bad language or have a bad behavior or anything like that, because you represent the Knight of Columbus at this time. The next thing is that you are a visionary. As a Grand Knight, you are the visionary of the council. You see to the future of where you think this council can go. In my council, in the back of the room, there's pictures for 50 years of the Grand Knights of our council. My council is where it's at because of the vision of that 50 years of Grand Knights on that wall. And so they brought it to this point. It was my job as Grand Knight to bring it to the next year, the next 2 years, the next 10 years. My vision of where I thought the council should be. And so just like them, they built it to where I was at. I was building it out further out and where I thought the bar could be reached. So that is what you are now going to do for the next year, 2 years, is to set the vision for the council and where they can reach to. And that's your job at this point. Also, in the attachment to the email, you'll find that there's a Grand Knight guide. It's a little card in there, and it has a front side and a back side, basically. In the middle section of that, it has all the duties of the Grand Knight, and there's about 17 duties in there. So I'm going to go through those duties with you right now. The first duty is to appoint the council chaplain. If you're from a small parish, you only have one priest and of your parish, and so he will probably be your council chaplain. If you're in a larger parish, you may have multiple priests, and so you may have a choice of which one you choose to have for your council. If your council meets on a Monday and that's their day off, then you're never going to see them in your council meeting. Then if you have the choice to pick another priest, it may behoove you to do so. But if you only have one priest, you got no choice. But always, every program that you have, you want to invite your chaplain, your council chaplain, to that program. You want to get him involved with the program. Your parish priest, whoever he is, should be there. Also note that Supreme does not allow a deacon to be a council chaplain. Although some parishes in Nevada, that's all they have is a deacon. So just keep that in mind also. The second duty of a Grand Knight is to appoint the membership director. Now, the membership director can be the most important person you select, The membership director should be somebody who's energized, happy, excited, loves the Knights of Columbus, has not a bad word to say about them, and it just wants people to join because he wants more people to be involved with what the Knights have to offer. This is the person you want as your membership director. This is the person that people are naturally attracted to, because people join not because of the organization always, but they join because of the person. The person is who they're trying to be around. So if Brother John is the membership director and 15 of his buddies just love being out with him, but they're not members of the Knights, and he's always involved with the Knights of Columbus, they're going to join the Knights of Columbus because they want to be around their buddy, Brother John. So that's the kind of person you want as your membership director. So choose wisely, okay? The third duty of a Grand Knight is to appoint a program director. Now, in most cases, the program director should be your deputy Grand Knight. All chairmen of all the programs report to the program director, which is your deputy Grand Knight. During the general meeting, the program director makes a report and may ask several of the chairmen to make also a report, especially the ones that with the programs are coming up pretty soon. So that's the job of the program director, or your deputy Grand Knight. You also appoint the standing committees. The standing committees are the committees that last year long, and they could be anything, but you want to appoint these guys pretty quickly because they're going to be going on all year long making reports back to the council meeting. So you need to do this very, very quickly, and I would recommend that right now you've already selected those individuals, and they may be people who already are chairmen of the standing committees, and you just want them to continue on into the following year. So that's those individuals. The fifth task of a Grand Knight is to schedule and preside over all officers' meetings. And I would add to that also all general meetings also. The Grand Knight is the one who's in front of the room and controlling the meeting. And when we say controlling the meeting, is that he has the gavel in hand and he has the soundboard of which the gavel hits. You control the meeting. So that's one of the reasons why you're there in the meeting. And that's that leadership that's there. And you hear what's going on at all times, especially during the officers' meetings and general meetings. Duty number 6 of a Grand Knight is to monitor the performance of the recruiting efforts, the memberships, of the insurance, of the new insurance members coming in, and to also monitor the performance of the programs. Now, there's a specific reason for that. One, these are the 3 categories you get the extra awards in: the McGivney Award, the Founders Award, and the Columbian Award. And they all stem from those 3 categories. First of all, you must try to do your best to hit your quota as early in the fraternal year as possible. The reason for that is that from the quota that they give you, those men are the ones the insurance agents meet with in order to get the insurance. And so you can figure about a third of the people who join the Knights of Columbus or your council will also get the insurance that's offered. And that meets your quota for insurance. If you wait until the last half of the year to start doing your recruiting efforts, the period of time that you're giving the insurance agents is very limited. It takes about 4 months, 3 to 4 months, from the time the insurance agent meets with them to the time the underwriters review the application and to issue the contract, and then for the member knight to sign the contract and then record that back with Supreme. So trying to do insurance in May and June, you need to try to hit your insurance quota as soon as possible, and that occurs by hitting your recruiting efforts as early as possible. Your programs, of course, those are those 16 programs that we're talking about in the 4 separate categories, 4 in each of the categories. So if you're on track with those, you know you got to do at least 1, possibly 2 every month. and that keeps you on track to hit your 16. This is why it's important, I say, to fill out the SB7 now, and then you can check them off as you're going, and that tells you whether you're staying on track or not to hit your 16 programs. And it'd be great if you could submit your SP7 form into Supreme by March or April. You don't have to worry about it then. And instead of this mad rush like this year, trying to get SP7s in the last 2 weeks of June, that's not good. So you need to try to do it a lot easier, because remember, there's 15,000 councils in the Knights of Columbus, and you have 10 to 15,000 councils all submitting SP7s in the last 2 weeks of June. What do you think the odds are of all of them being accepted? Okay. The next duty of the Grand Knight is to appoint the admissions committee. There's one person that you don't have to appoint, and that's your chancellor. He's automatic. He's the chair of the admissions committee. But also you can appoint other people. Depending on the size of your council, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many you want to be on that committee. Now, why do you need an admissions committee? Well, people can become a member of the Knights of Columbus online with the Supreme website. So they kind of hang out amongst the state, but they don't really belong to a council. If they want to belong to your council, they have to come in and kind of meet with the admissions committee. And the admissions committee is going to ask them what they're interested in, what they know about the Knights of Columbus, how long they've been a member through Supreme. Do they go to the parish? Do they regularly go to the parish mass meetings? I know in the past couple months no one's gone to mass, but unless you did it on TV, but not in the parish. And so, when that gets going again, or they're regularly going every Sunday, as Knights of Columbus, we are required to go to mass every Sunday. So are they doing that, and do they know the expectations that we have of them? And then if they are meeting all the qualifications, then for the admissions committee then to take his application and bring it to the general meeting and present it to the Grand Knight to make a report on that. And then the Grand Knight and the council then accepts the application. This is the Form 100. And then the admissions committee then contacts the individual, says, yahoo, you've been accepted by the council to take your degree. You then give them the date of the degree. It can be done online or in person at the council. And he can invite his family and any guests. They all come down to see that. He becomes a Knight of Columbus, and the cycle starts again. So this is the new way, and this is the way the admissions committee works for you. So the chancellor is the chairman of the admissions committee. Duty number 8 is to recognize your honorary members and your honorary life members. Now, when that represents somebody who has done 25 years minimum as a Knight of Columbus and has reached the age of 70, that is a lot of service for the Knights of Columbus. And so these people deserve something special for them that reach that point in their career as a knight. And so there is a special ceremony that you can get from Supreme that honors them. And it's done, you can either do it in a council meeting, but it's more impactful if you do it, let's say during a dinner, a special dinner, that you honor these individuals. They then get a pin and they get a special card that shows that they are now an honorary life or honorary member, and they don't have to pay dues anymore. So it's a special point to be that to have reached that level. So they deserve a special recognition for that. Duty number 9. It is your job to also to recognize the past Grand Knights. The past Grand Knight is your immediate past Grand Knight. You can have a dinner also for them. Could do it together with the other honorary members and honorary life members, and to recognize them and also give them a pin. And also there's a ribbon that you can give them also for past Grand Knight. So that's another special thing that can be done, and also to honor his wife for letting him do this to be a Grand Knight. If you're married, your wife will know what I'm talking about. Also, you want to recognize your Knight of the Year. if you've been doing this on a monthly basis and you pick at the end the night of the year for your council. There's also a night of the year from the state. So you can either do them both. If you are lucky enough to get a state night of the year is in your council, but your council itself can award a night of the year and recognize them during a dinner at the beginning of the fraternal year. You can also recognize community leaders during one of your dinners. You could do politicians, specific people that are not necessarily politicians, but they work in the government, police officers, firemen, emergency responders. These individuals can also be recognized during your dinners. Now, also, on top of this duty, I would also recommend that you start this year, if you haven't already, because I know only 5 to 8 councils in the whole state do this, and it should be all 40 of you doing it every single month to award the night of the month and the family of the month. It's just so simple. It takes 5 minutes to fill out the form on Supreme. You print it out. The little certificate's easy to do. You can award it to them during a council meeting, or even at the end of Mass. Ask Father, can I award this to one of the family members here at Mass? And he'll say, yeah, sure. And you do that in front of everybody, and they get to come up to the altar and receive this award from you and the priest. What a special honor, and everybody gets to see that. And what a great recruiting opportunity also, because everyone says, wow, that family got that award. I would love to get that award too, but I got to be a member of the Knights. See what I'm saying? And so this is a great award to have every month to give that out, and each time. So you can, at the end of the year, you could do a Night of the Year award and even a Family of the Year award. So from your council. So just keep that in mind. Duty number 10 is that you conduct a semiannual audit, and these are done in July and January. And what is next month? That's right, it's July. So you're going to do right off is an audit of your council finances. So now, who's on the audit committee? Well, it's the Grand Knight and the trustees. And in July of this year, I would also have my past Grand Knight, unless you're a returning Grand Knight, to be there on that team, and you do the audit together. Now, you notice I didn't say financial secretary. The financial secretary is not a member of the audit team, so you should only have the trustees and yourself and possibly the past Grand Knight be in there to review the books. And what are you looking for in the books? You want to see the bank statements, and you want to see the vouchers and the deposit slips. So that way you can go through and check to make sure everything's on the up to up and the numbers all work out. You have a form you fill out from Supreme. You fill that out, you sign it, and then your trustees sign it, and then it goes to Supreme. And also you send a copy over to the state deputy. It's pretty simple to do, but you need to do it in July and in January. Your first experience is next month, so it's not that hard. Your trustees can do it. They're all past Grand Knights, and they'll show you what to look for. So you can do this and be on time with your reports. Which leads me to duty number 11. To be on time, to fill out and to be on time with all forms and submit it to Supreme. All these forms have deadlines. The first forms you got to send in is your officer form, which you should be sending in already. These are the new officers. You fill in every position and you submit it. If you get to going on the first committee meeting next month, and they come to find out, let's say your recorder doesn't want to do it anymore, and he resigns. So you say, okay, I get a new recorder, voted him in, and you fill out the form, you put the recorder's name and his contact information, and you send the form in. Well, guess what? You just have one officer in your council. Supreme doesn't know. You have to fill out the entire form every time and make sure every officer position is filled out and given to Supreme. So be accurate with your form. The other form that you need to submit in next month in July is your chairmen and your directors of your various programs. You have to fill all that out, their names, their addresses, their emails, and their phone numbers for each and every one of them. And you send that one into Supreme. And then that gets updated and populated onto the Supreme website. You also send that both forms to the state officers so that we can update our state directory, which is very important because this is how we contact you. Okay, so the various members of the state team can contact various people in your council. So let's say the state membership director wants to talk to your council membership director. This is how he does that. Okay, the information from your forms are updated on a directory, and then that way we know who's who and how to contact them. So make sure both forms are turned in next month. Duty number 13. You as a Grand Knight, you schedule, you organize the degrees. Okay, as of right now, we have 2 different degrees. You can either do a first degree, which highly unrecommended anymore, but you can do that. Or you can do what we call the Charity, Unity, Fraternity degree. And once someone finishes that, they are a 3rd degree Knight. And so we're trying to get it where everybody, when they come in, they immediately become a 3rd degree Knight, not just a 1st degree Knight all the way to 3rd degree. And that's what that Charity, Unity, Fraternity degree is. You schedule that with your district deputy and also with the state officers. Let us know when you're holding these degrees so that we can be there. And we want to show support, and especially to a new member coming in, to see that the state officers are also there for his initiation. That's very, very impressive on them. And it shows that this is not just a council thing, but it's a state thing. Everybody's involved, and they want them to become involved with their councils. So it's very important to notify everyone about your degrees and to schedule those monthly, especially if you're a large council that's bringing in 16 to 20 as your quota. You got to do them almost every month. If you're a small council, let's say that you only bring in 4 or 5, then you could probably schedule every other month. But you need to get a schedule going and work towards those schedules constantly. And that way, and make sure you get people to those degrees so you stay on track. Duty number 14. This is the duty that I didn't know a Grand Knight did when I became a Grand Knight. And it's probably one of the most important duties of a Grand Knight, and that is to honor the passing of a brother Knight. And it's done with the resolution of condolences. And this is a very, very touching and moving document if done properly. So what I would recommend to you, if you have a brother Knight that passes away during your term of office, that you first take the resolution of condolences and read it to yourself 5, 10, 15 times. Get very familiar with it before you ever go to the Mass, funeral Mass. And then when you get up in front of everyone to read the resolution of condolences, is to slow your speech down. Do not rush through it. Read it word for word and with the emphasis that the words have. It has a rhythm to it. And if you read it slowly, you'll catch the rhythm. And it has a cadence. Just slowly reading through it. And it's a very powerful statement. You want to read it loud, slowly, and clearly. And if you do that, it hits a mark that honors the brother Knight who has passed away. It's one of the most important duties as a Grand Knight that you can possibly do. Also, when you give the resolution of condolences to the widow of the brother Knight or family member of the brother Knight, do not hand them a slip of paper called the resolution of condolences. Put it in a nice frame. You're going to have 4 or 5 of these this year. You can have a budget for this. Put a nice frame together. Put some tags in there. If he was a past Grand Knight or something, put some little lapels in there or something like that. Add to it. Make it something that they would want to set up on a mantle or a memorial to the brother knight. So do a good job with that, and it'll pay many dividends to you. It doesn't have to be this way, but I have found that many of the funeral masses that I have done in the past years have also been a recruiting effort. Not intentionally, but the sons of a former knight or a past knight, when they see that mass done and the way you read that, it strikes a tone in them that they want to honor their father or brother or cousin or uncle by becoming members also. They see the importance of being a brother knight because we're with them all the way to the end. And so it becomes that way. So if you get up there and read this thing really fast and just kind of slunch through it, it doesn't have the impact. If you do it the way I tell you how to do it, you'll have an impact, and you'll be surprised at the results. So just heed my words on that. Duty number 15. Many councils don't do this, and they should be doing this. If you're a brand new Grand Knight this year, you may experience your past Grand Knight not handing you the programs that were done last year, the reports. So you're going to be in the blind this year of how to do these programs unless you know what they are and have a great memory, where to buy the supplies, what people you need to get, what entertainers you had at the program last year. Unless you have a report, you're going to have to go from memory or talk to other people if their memories are clear. So after every program, the chairmen need to write a report. They need to say how many members were involved, how many people were totally involved. They need to say where they came from, let's say religious ed or something. You had some people from that. How much it cost to do this? Where'd you buy your supplies from? Where you got your entertainment from? What went well? What didn't go well? And what we could do better. That's all the report needs to say. You put that into the council file, and then when it comes to towards the end of the year, you need to fill out the SB7. You got additional information for that. When you're filling out for the awards, for program awards for the state convention, you got the information right there in front of you. You don't have to go from memory. You can go from that. You got pictures. You got flyers that you use for the program. All that's in that with the report. So that makes it easier for the next year to do that. So please do these reports and get in the habit of doing reports. That's how councils are ran. You got to have reports, records of what you did in the past. So that's a duty of the Grand Knight. Duty number 16, and that is to follow Robert's Rules of Order and also to follow how to conduct a meeting, the parliamentarian procedures. I've added a PDF of that latter one onto the email so you can look at that. Robert's Rules of Order, this is something you can easily get on the internet also. This is how you conduct a meeting. It's how people get up to be able to have a discussion on an item. There's how you amend any article that you want to bring up for a vote. So all those different things are covered by Robert's Rules of Order. But it also talks about you have the gavel. And remember, no meeting should last any longer than a meeting 1 hour. So if you have the gavel, if people are starting to ramble on and they're discussing too long, you hit boom, boom, boom. Hey, shut it down. That goes to a committee meeting, and you can discuss that there, and we'll table it until next month. It doesn't look like we're ready to vote on it yet, and let's move on to the next topic, okay? That's your job. Control the meeting, because you got to get it done in an hour, and you're not there to be for an hour and a half, 2 hours in the meeting. That is uncalled for. Do not be that long. People stop showing up to meetings when they go too long. So just like it's important to start when you say you're going to start, it's important to end when you say you're going to end. And that's the duty of a Grand Knight. The final duty of a Grand Knight is starting on time. Every meeting starts at a certain time. If you say 7:30 p.m., you start at 7:30 p.m. If you don't have a quorum at 7:30 p.m., well, you start the meeting and hopefully people start showing up to where you will have a quorum in time when it comes time to do the vote. So please, please, please start your council meetings on time. Even your various programs should all start on time. So don't be late. Don't wait another 10, 15 minutes hoping some additional people will show up so you get the numbers. They start when they start. And when people get in the habit of knowing that, they come to meetings on time. They come to programs on time. They won't come late anymore. So that's it in a nutshell of what the duties of a grand night are. We have also the duties towards the ceremonial. So the ceremonial things that we do, like initiating officers, which is the first one, you are to coordinate that with your district deputy so we can schedule a time to have the officer initiation. You want to do that in July. You don't want to do it in August or September. I've heard of some councils doing as late as September, but there's a lot of things going on in the council between July 1st and September. You want to get the initiation as soon as possible, and that can be done if it has to be done during the first council meeting in July. So have your DD available quickly to hold your officer installation. Your second duty towards ceremonials is to schedule and publicize frequently your degrees. You must have a degree every month or every other month. It's just a must. And then you work towards that to make sure you get people to those degrees. So once they sign on to the Supreme, so if you meet somebody and he says, I want to become a knight, sign them on to the Supreme website right then. And then you schedule them for that degree. They're already a knight. So now all you got to do is get them into the degree. You can either do it two ways. Online. Okay, we're doing that constantly, online degrees right now. Or you can do it in person at your council hall. So either way, and get them into your council. Also, your duty as a Grand Knight, the third one towards ceremonies, is to inform the district deputy of when your degrees will be held. And of course, the last ceremonial is the holding the Mass, which we've already talked a little bit about, is that how you conduct yourself during the Mass and how you read that resolution of condolences. Also, you have the ceremonials that you will follow, which you can get from Supreme. It gives you a complete outline for the ceremony for honoring the honorary member and the honorary life members, and also how to properly hold the meetings. And that's in two of the PDFs that I have attached to the email has those in there, so you can know exactly how to hold the meeting and how many times you hit the gavel for your various points in the meeting. So it's very important you follow the ceremonials for each of those categories. So just like last week I gave you 4 tasks, this week I'm giving you 4 more. So I'm asking you, the first task is to review the Grand Knight Guide. It's the attachment to the email. The second task is to review the protocol handbook. It's also a PDF attachment on the email. Review both of these, and you will, throughout the remaining of the fraternal year, review and review them, always making sure you're getting better and better at following what those guides are for what it is to be a Grand Knight and to follow the protocols. The third task is to review the how to conduct a council meeting booklet. It's also a PDF attached in the email. Once you've done a couple of meetings following it, you get into a rhythm and you just keep following that outline all through the year. Just keep following that outline and you'll do just fine in the meetings. Don't try to create your own outline. Do it exactly the way it's laid out in the booklet. And then the fourth task is to go to the Supreme website. K for Knights, OF for of, C for Columbus, so .org, KOFC.org. And then go in there and then in the search box, just bring up council resources, type that. And then it'll bring up this whole page and has all kinds of resources for you. It'll tell you the handouts I've attached to this email are in there. It has handbooks for the various officers' positions you have in your council, so you can hand those over to those officers. You have all kinds of ideas of how to do things. There's videos, there's training programs in there. There's all kinds of resources, so much to look at. So you need to review it. Just glance through some of the stuff and start getting your ideas going. Get the juices going, you might say, and be ready for this year coming up. So that's all I have. There's a little quote that I like to say here is prepare yourself now and be a council leader come July 1st, 2020. Or as the quote says, with knowledge is confidence, and with confidence there's leadership. And I don't know who said that. Maybe it's my own quote. I don't know. But the more confident you are, the more control you have. And so confidence comes from knowledge. Prepare yourself now, okay? And don't wait until next year sometime to start looking at the resources. Look at them now and get ready to be your grand night of your council come July 1st. And again, we as state officers want to hear from you. Please send us any question that you may have, any of the state officers, and I'll answer anything that you'll send to me. I'll send you back resources. If you don't know where to find them, I can send them to you. You can, like I said, you can Google the Nevada State Council, and that will pop up right onto your Google, and then go right into our website. Also, you can find us in Facebook also. So there's many ways of finding us and having communication. So we're here for you, and we're here to support you. Our officers are looking forward to having a great year because we know that you can do it. And those returning Grand Knights, you had your first year. You know what it's all about. You're going to do great this year. And you new Knights that are just coming in, new Grand Knights, you have so many people there to support you. All the past Grand Knights are all around you, and they're there to support you to have a great year. And I know you can do it because your council believed in you to vote you in as Grand Knight of the new Fraternal Year. So see you again next week.